Man U still has a problem. They won this match, but it was an act of referee, not their own individual sprint.
Yes.
At the Old Trafford, Manchester United hosted Nottingham Forest. This was another game. Yeah, if you remember when we were discussing during the preview last week, this was one of the games we were not very sure how it was going to pan out, considering what has happened to United in the first two games, especially in their midfield and defensively. Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, has proved to be a team that you're not sure what you're going to get against them. And just like we envisaged, this game started exactly the same way. Within a blink of an eye, United was 2 goals down at the Old Trafford. Eventually, the game ended 3-2. United managed to come back in this one and won the game. Chima, start us. What's your thoughts on this match?
Well, I honestly don't think United. I didn't think that they deserved to win the game. I felt like they had some help from the referee. I felt strongly about that. I'm not convinced that the penalty they got was a penalty. You know, I felt like if the referee had allowed VR to show that over and over again, he would have changed his mind. He just made that decision and crossed his mind without, going to the VAR to look at it. Mind you, they were lucky. They were lucky. I always tell people that, mind you, most times they win on the boardroom. This was among the games that I consider a match that was won inside the boardroom, because the penalty wasn't a penalty to me. Most of even the red card, it was a flimsy red card, It was just, I believe that the problem in Man U is still there. Rashford allowed, do I say they are not properly motivated? Is it motivation? Is it, I don't know what it is, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. The midfield is still porous. Casemiro is not the pattern of play that Teg is playing. I don't think Casemiro has the strength to make those running in and running back. Because you see, whenever you have the keeper as the main character that brings the attack, what it does is it pushes your midfield a little bit forward. And when the midfield goes a little up, there is a little space between the keeper and the midfield, vis-a-vis the defenders. And these guys who can run very well, like this Nigerian guy, you saw how he ran through the midfield. Taiwo, he ran through the midfield. He ran like 100 miles without no disruption. Bigger than Rashford, and he was able to, to score that goal. So, yeah, Man U still has a problem. They won this match, but it was an act of referee, not their own individual sprint.
Ogun, let me touch base with you right quick, right there. During the time of Ole, before he left, one of the characteristics of United was them. Most of the time, they started their games sloppy. They never gave 100%, a full game performance. Either they start slow or they start fast, and second half they die off or something. It looks like this Ten Hag came in last season. It looked like he had taken care of that mentality and that problem. But this season, watching United, I have not seen United have a sustained performance in a game for a sustained period, not even a full half. And against Nottingham Forest, this was exactly what happened. The first 20 minutes of the game or 30, it looked like another team, maybe their youth team was playing. And all of a sudden, they sprung up. And I hear what Chima is saying, but to come back from 2 goals down to win a game 3-2, I don't care what anybody says. I believe he also speaks about mentality. a strong mentality of the team. So talk us about what do you think is going on in United? It's been there for a little bit. Now even Mourinho was there. We're talking about it. Ole had the same problem. Today, United will be the game of the team of the season. The next 30 minutes, you'll be wondering if it's the same team. How did you see this attitude or their behavior in this game?
Well, yeah, what you said is true. It's something that has happened in the past, and when certain teams build certain habits, they're very hard to break. You see them coming up, especially when you least expect it. It happens and happens and happens. And so the only way you can take that off is if you have a very strong character as a coach that comes in and stamps his foot and does and takes some certain actions to prevent those things from happening. That's one way. The other way would be to get rid of the players that have that mentality and replace them with ones that can, have an opposite or better mentality. Right. So it's either the coach takes time on the training field to work against that particular problem until it's solved, and this also would comes up with Arsenal, and conceding very early goals, I guess I'm sure we'll come to that. But yes, it happens. Some sides just start slowly and never and allow other teams do what they want to do, and then they take the thrill is in being able to come back, like they did, and win the game. It's very thrilling. It's very uplifting. They get their satisfaction from that. But in some games,
It doesn't
you
work
don't.
all the time.
It doesn't
Yeah.
work. You end up not coming back, and then you suffer for it. So, fortunately for them, they did this against Nottingham. Nottingham couldn't score more goals to kind of secure the
3 points.
build on the lead that they created. And again, that's all part of it. Both teams are in transition. Nottingham are finding their identity more and more. I see them playing better football with each passing game compared to last season. They were clueless. This season, I see them with the definite pattern of play. You see them with some organization. See them attack really full pelt when they are on the counter attack with Awoniyi leading the line. Bruno Fernandes played really well for United. So hopefully this will kind of kickstart their season, and let's see where they take it from here.
Yeah, before
Chima rightly,
go ahead.
Yeah, Chima rightly mentioned that, of course, refereeing decisions came into play. Stuart Atwell is one referee that I don't like to see, among a few others. But yes, that dude is a pure homer. It's unfortunate that
you said it last week.
I said it right,
Yes.
and it happened again. So yeah, that's
yeah. Just to support what you said before I go to Choma. Your comments about Nottingham Forest is just like what you was saying about Chelsea. Last season that you're talking about, Nottingham Forest signed 22 players, I think. Yes. So you can imagine how chaotic. Everybody is new. Everybody is settling down. The coach is settling down in a new league. They were just all over the place. Every game, the man is trying maybe 5 new players to see, as the season is going on, they're signing players. Even till the deadline, they brought in players. You remember this guy for United went over there as well. What's his name?
Langa?
Angerland. No, the other, the English player. What's his name? The Arsenal fans always make guess of that he's dancing, that does moonwalk.
Okay, Lingard.
Jesse Lingard went there last season as well. So they brought in so many players, and that caused, I'm sure that caused problem for the coach, just like we're talking about Chelsea this time around. So, but let me ask you, in United, I'm going to ask about 2 players. Sancho, last season, we know what happened. He was taken out of the squad to give him time to recover. And here he was dealing with emotional and mental stuff. He came back toward the end of the season. In preseason, Erik ten Hag used him as a false 9, and that worked to an extent. I thought he was going to have more playing time going into the season. So far, he has not really seen game time. The other day, Ten Hag started Garnacho on the left to allow Rashford play through the middle. One would have
Yeah.
expected that Sancho should have, played from the middle, while Rashford will have the traditional position on the left side of the attack. And so I want to, what do you think is going on with Sancho? Then another player is Rashford. Rashford, when he's on it, Man U fans rave about him. Me personally, I don't rate him that much. The only thing I like about him is his attitude as a player. He seems to be a guy that doesn't give trouble in the dressing room. He goes about his business. But I don't see him as a player that has a strong mentality to stay on it, give you consistent performance, year in, year out. Last season was very terrific for him. He delivered United in so many games, scored a lot of goals. This season, people are saying, yeah, because he was played in the middle. I don't think that's the reason why he has not really kicked in this season. So talk us, what do you think about these two players? I think if United is to get anything out of this season, these two guys have to come to the party.
Now, about Rashford, Rashford is one of my favorite United players. Yeah, I think he's dynamic. I can't even explain what's happening this season, but like we said, we all just got to the party. Maybe people are starting to find themselves, Rashford, for me, I think something is wrong. Something is wrong. Yeah, he used to be that kind of player that, he has this body language that you can't read. You can't read his body language. There was something that happened. I think it was there a game before this one. I saw him literally take the ball from Anthony's leg. I don't know if anybody caught that.
Yeah, you
He
mentioned
was
it last week.
irritated. He was irritated. Okay, he wasn't having it. And for me, I don't know about any other person. That speaks of volume. Okay, something is happening. It's either that guy is not happy or he has had it. So speaking about Jadon Sancho seems like every other English player that, they just rave about and dump in a squad. And okay, let me not use the word dump in a squad. He's a good guy. Okay, plays good football. But is he living up to what we were sold when he was coming? I don't think I'm satisfied with, because the way they were telling us what that guy would do is not what I'm saying. So I don't want to be like every other person and start blaming the midfield in United for what is happening. I don't want to be like every other person. But do I think that they are having a problem? Yes, they're having a problem. I will always say that Anthony is not working. I don't know if it's going to work later, but he is not working. And if Anthony is not working, I don't know how these guys I just mentioned would look good. Because, Anthony is supposed to, in collaboration, make them look good. Okay, so if these guys are worried about what Anthony is doing, he's over dribbling, he's getting
Delaying
lost
their
on the ball.
passage.
He's delaying their passes. If he's killing attacks, nothing can happen. And then the whole midfield wahala. At least we all can agree that Casemiro is stressed. He's a hold. In Madrid, he was a hold. Now you're making this guy run around and go and look for bread. What bread is he looking for? He needs to hold. Okay, and then the whole Bruno is beautiful every time of the day, in Portugal, anywhere, he's doing his job. But is there some things are happening there? When Mourinho was talking about it, some people were like, oh, that guy, he's a hothead. Let's take him out of there. He started complaining about some things, actually.
Yeah.
Some things. So maybe the things are coming up and I don't know, but I have a soft spot for United, but something is not working.
Yeah, I think like we said, we all agreed in our last episode, the preview, that Erik ten Hag needs to probably look inwards. It looks like he's being too loyal to certain players and certain markets. United they've backed him to an extent. I know people are saying United cannot spend money because they've not bought big, but if you look at that team right now, seven out of the 11 players that start for United are players that are signed by Ten Hag. So he should know the players that will suit what he wants to do with the team, and and get them together. But so far, on the board, they're not looking bad. It's just that United fans, just like we're talking about Barcelona earlier on, there's a way they want their team to play, and they're not playing that way right now. So it's a thing of concern for the fans. So we'll just wait and see. This weekend, we will be doing our preview of the weekend, our preview of the weekend games, and it's United against Arsenal. So we'll look at it in depthly and see how that one is going to pan out. The game of the night, let's move to Arsenal at home to Fulham. This was one of the games that people thought that it's going to be easy for Arsenal to wrap up. If you watched our last episode, the title to this preview was, will Arsenal consolidate their 100% start to the season? And of course, the answer at the end of the day was no. Jude, I guess you saw this game. What's your thoughts about how this game panned out?
I saw the game and not in full time. I watched a lot of reviews on it, and for me, yeah, I will not. On the squad generally, let me take it from there. On the squad generally, I believe the squad is 2 steps better than what it was last season. The first 2 games they played, we saw how they got their points and even held out with a 10-man to play. So coming to the game with the last game with Fulham, it makes me, I worry. I worry because I start to think back things that happened towards the end of last season. And comparing it to how fluid Arsenal started last season, and how could Arsenal, not take maximum points from this last game. For me, there is not really anything to worry much about Arsenal, but I worry much about Arteta, tweaking things and overthinking, and I don't know what he's trying to do. But for me, if it were me, I would keep it very, very simple with the squad as it is. Leave people in their right positions where they're supposed to be. You have few new players. There shouldn't be a headache to you. You are not like Pochettino that has a horde of players to worry about. You have a squad that is intact. You can almost be compared to Man City or Liverpool. Squads that have players who have been there, in the mix for a long time and knows the way to go. So he should keep it simple and allow these boys to express themselves. You don't really need to worry. The over-tactic, I believe he's overthinking and he's overreaching himself. That is not for me, he's going to have a lot of pressure, and this kind of games will always come. And some of these games that he needed to win, and then you start struggling with them. Those are the things that marred this season, last season, that they could have taken this league, long time before it ended. So for me, the team, most of the boys played well, but Arteta should keep it simple. I don't know, for whatever it's worth, and if you understand what I mean. Now, yeah. That's just the advice I want to give Arteta and his back room.
Let's hold it right there with what you just mentioned. I remember the season before this one, most of the pundits were echoing what you just said, and Arteta is over-coaching the players. He should allow them, he's not giving them freedom to express themselves. He's uptight with them, until last season, all of a sudden, these boys exploded. And everybody was like, oh, then he was drilling into them. He was being, specific what he wanted from players. And once they understood what he was saying, they all flourished. This season has started. It seems like Arteta is trying to bring something new to the team. But unfortunately for him, the season before, the expectations were not there. People did not take Arsenal seriously when he was doing that adjustment. Now, Arsenal did what they did last season. Now, people are expecting them to go again this season. Do you think Arteta is trying to develop a different way or alternative way to play at this start of the season? Do you think is this something to worry about, or is there anything good about it, about what he's doing right now that the team probably will gain from going into the season as the season progresses?
Yeah, well said, Jude. Well said. I as an Arsenal fan, I can see where you're coming from, and your point is valid. But what I can say about that is that I think that we have a coach that has how would I put it now? If I call him a genius, it'd be very polarizing. He's not a genius, but he has genius tendencies. And people that are like that are very obsessive with the way they work. They're very intense with the way they work. And they want to, if they have some certain things in mind, they want to accomplish those things, even when other people don't see those things. Yeah, especially at the initial stage. They're very obsessive. That's the kind of character that Arteta is. And listening to many of the players that he has trained over the past 1-2 years, one recurring theme is that they say, I know my role. I know what I'm supposed to do on the pitch.
Clarity
in terms of what you're supposed to do when you get on that field. This even up to the level where you know the zone you are supposed to occupy, right, on the field, whether you're attacking or defending. You are supposed to be at this point here at this time. So I think that I don't see that he's overcomplicating things. I think that he's trying to make the team a little bit more unpredictable than they were last season. Of course, they were a surprise element last season. That surprise element with the way the game was flowing took a lot of people, and people take it or leave it. Every coach in the EPL is well educated. You have to be well educated as a coach to get a job in the EPL. And these guys have behind them data analysts. They have, people that do a lot of research into every other team. And so they prepare very well for your teams, right? Saka and Martinelli have been identified. Every game I've seen us now this season so far, those two guys are double teamed, right? They get the ball, you see two people right in front of them, right there. Saka's zone is crazy, right? Saka, once he controls the ball, you see two people with a third person approaching, right? So you see that the teams have prepared very well. And if you continue to play the way you were playing last season, you're not going to be able to do much. You have to vary stuff. And two other reasons why I think he's been doing what he's done so far is, number one, we lost a force called Granit Xhaka. For all the things that that were said about that man, if you go to see what he's doing, the Leverkusen have won their two games so far.
Yeah.
They're already calling him warrior leader. He's running the play at Leverkusen. This was someone that Arsenal fans badmouthed for so many years until Arteta found his right role. And we are missing the balance that guy brings on the pitch. He's been replaced with Kai Havertz. It took him upwards of 3-4 years, and then as Arteta's arrival, to really bring out the best in him.
Yeah.
Right now we expect Havertz to do what Xhaka did in 2 or 3 games. That's not possible. Number one, they are not the same type of player. Number two, it would take a while, some time, for Havertz to really understand and bring
Adapt.
and adapt. And then he's not going to be Xhaka. He's going to be Havertz. He will have to bring his own value with his own qualities to the role that he's been given in the team. So yeah, that's one reason. Another reason being that Zinchenko, our main inverted man, got injured as well. So the team started the season without Zinchenko, who again with Xhaka not being there, the next person that runs the person in the team, bosses the person in the team is Zinchenko. He was injured. So that led to the manager saying, hey, okay, who is the next best passer? What do we do? You invert the next best passer, use Partey on the right, invert him and have Ben White, have Saliba and maybe Kivio or what's this guy? Guy that got a red card. I don't. So yeah, Timber playing. So Tomiyasu. So yeah, so he decided to move that option to the right, with Zinchenko not being there. So I think that the manager still, there's a semblance of what he was doing last season, trying to vary it a bit, but with new personnel, they are all learning, they are all picking up, they are all moving as the game goes. And I think that the fluency will improve, will come with more games as they play, right? So that's my submission so far on Arsenal's 3 games they played this season.
Joma, Martinelli and Saka, just like I isolated Rashford and Sancho, this season so far, they have not performed anywhere close to what they did last season. What do you think? What do you attribute, this their below par performance so far?
I think Ugum already gave us the answer to that question. Okay, Ugum already answered that question. Last season was unexpected. These boys were up there. Not like they are down, they were up there. We saw what they did. So teams have gone to watch all the games, all the highlights, everything, seen them from 360 angle, now they know what to do. So you have to do 2-man, run after Saka, 2-man, this, and all of that. Do you understand? So for me, it's too early. Personally, it's too early to start judging them just because I know what they can do. And I know the kind of players they are. So that's exactly what I feel Arteta is doing. Because if you don't come from a different angle in this season, all of a sudden teams are turning to Arsenal and making comments. All of a sudden, people just think we owe them anything. We didn't owe them nothing. It used to be us making headlines for the how many years we've been absent in the Champions League and how we are very patient people. All of a sudden, the likes of City, Liverpool, Chelsea fans, they can't even make a comment without Arsenal this, Arsenal that. We don't owe you guys nothing. Seriously. All of us are just in the EPL doing our business. Last season, all of a sudden, they were like, ooh, these guys, they've got game. We've always got game, but we were building. There's a certain club that is building, but they are building in chaos. They can't even get it together. You know what happens when you're building. I know people who expect, oh, she's an Arsenal fan, they are going to side and make excuses for themselves. I heard what Mr. Jude was saying. Arteta, keep it simple. And he's right, he's spot on. Because he's human. At the end of the day, he's human. All of a sudden, everybody's talking petty. People are coming, giving him cancel. You have the likes of, what's the name of this guy that's always looking for who to give high blood pressure? I'm trying to remember. Gary, is it Philip Neville?
Gary Neville.
Gary played for, United. Is it the same Gary as in Neville? Do you know that?
Gary Neville, yeah.
Do you know that Neville, whenever he opens his mouth, he's giving somebody a high blood pressure. But in his last statement, he actually sided with Arteta. It was weird to me. Do you understand?
Yeah,
So
it's true.
I don't
But
think.
let me ask you one question right there. For Saka
Yeah.
and Martinelli, the hope for every Arsenal fan is for them to be or become the best. And this idea of double teaming them, I understand it. It's true. But the
Yeah.
best, Messi, okay, let me not go to Messi. That's a different level. People like Arjen Robben that play for Chelsea, you know what he's going to do, but he will still do it. Presently in EPL, Salah, for the past 3-4 years now, you know what what he would do, but he still do it. So shouldn't we expect the same for Saka and Martinelli? To find a way.
You said Robin, and then you said Salah. And in my head, I'm like, we have blooming flowers. I call these guys bloomers, okay? They are blooming. And as far as I'm concerned, what they did and what they are doing, I don't think I remember anybody trying to pull off that. With the space of time they had to become. Would they be better? Yes, they'll be better. They will find another way to do it. I mean, we've seen Saka come out of frustration to do something. I mean, for once, sometimes you see him defending.
Yeah,
Sometimes you see him playing like out of his.
I hear you,
Choma.
Yeah.
You see him trying to do. See, I've seen him this season, not because I'm an Arsenal fan. People expect me to always say, I've seen a part of Saka that I can't wait for it to unravel. Now he tracks back to go and collect ball from somebody. That wasn't what he did last season. That wasn't what he was creating chaos in the wings. Like he didn't leave those places. Like he was there. But now he's tracking back. He's helping out. It means that something is coming out of him. So, I mean, we need to give these guys time. And Arteta.
I hear you. Well, I think we'll do a full episode on Arsenal this week or next week, the international window. After the United game, let's X-ray the team a little bit deeper. I'll have one about Chelsea too with Chima and a few Chelsea fans. Let's look at after the first 4 games of the season. Let's have a detailed analysis of how the teams have approached the season and what we expect going forward. So, Chima, let's hear your view on Arsenal. Looking in from outside, I know you've watched all 3 games of Arsenal. What do you have to say? A lot of people are turning on Arteta about his the new way he's trying to set up Arsenal. Whether you like it or not, out of 9, Arsenal has 7 points. In terms of the board, that's not a very bad return. But because of what the team did last season, the expectations are higher. So people, in fact, I heard somebody, I was watching a show today, and the guy was referring to the game Arsenal played with Fulham, that Arsenal lost the game. He was actually, he kept saying it. He forgot that the game was actually 2-2. He kept saying the reason why Arsenal lost was this. I was like, bro, this game ended 2-2. So that tells you the level of expectation people have about Arsenal. So as a rival fan, what do you think is going on in Arsenal? What's your, so we can quickly round up. I'll spend some time on this one.
You know that at the beginning of the season, I told you that I believe that Arsenal is most favored to, carry the league. I told you that, I've always been very, very open and very frank when I speak about teams, including my team. My what frustrates me is when people are, when people use adjectives that are not in this world to qualify things that are not in existence. I felt like at the beginning of the season, when I saw their preseason, I was very, very impressed with what Arsenal, what they are unraveling. But looking at the season now, although it is still young, looking at how how City play maturedly. Whenever City is in trouble, they will maturely deal with that trouble and settle calm the waters. But whenever Arsenal in the last two games, the other game they won, was it 2-1 or 2-1? They survived that game. That was, they were lucky to win that game. And this of the game of this their weekend game also, the same story. So I'm beginning to look at Arsenal as the same thing. The same thing, they start very well. They're like this beautiful girl that thinks that she's everything, but they don't know when to settle. They will continue to feel like they are beautiful until the twilight zone. Sounds like the twilight, yeah. That's why, I don't stay here and discuss, I will expatiate Saka in a very loud manner. I saw what Saka is doing. There are people that, you see them when they discuss about this Saka and they feel like it's their brother.
Chima, just say my name. Chima, say my name.
No, I'm not saying, I'm not talking about anybody.
Chima, say my name.
This is what I'm looking at. I will just shake my head at the level of, I'm looking for a better adjective to qualify. You will see the inner, it comes from their stomach. The way they,
You might know the funny thing. That's exactly the way you're talking about Raheem Sterling.
No, I'm telling you. But like I said, I will tell you the truth. Arsenal survived their last game, and this game also, they had it was 2-2. They lost 2 points, but it would have been 4. It would have been 4. They were just lucky to survive the last match and this and the other game, this weekend game.
Fulham.
So what I'm gonna say is I still believe that Arsenal is a good team. They are very good, but they are not in the same level with City. They are not. I'm telling you.
Is that the conversation?
Yeah, obviously. I think I hear you. I hear you, Chima.
Yeah, if
right.
One thing about me is I'm very, very fair in description. I don't kill myself and amaze myself in this euphoria of, let us have one-on-one discussion of Arsenal. Let us take one weekend and discuss Arsenal. When I hear those kind of discussion, I just feel, I get angry inside of me. Can you imagine people saying that they want to use one weekend to just unravel Arsenal? Let us discuss the intricacies that goes around that. It's just
you can do that about any team. We're going to do it on Chelsea as well.
Let me land. If Arsenal, if they don't take their chances, it would, they will be there. Other teams will meet them. Right now, Arsenal lost it last season. If they don't win it this season, Newcastle
Chelsea will miss them. Is that what you're saying? Chelsea will miss them.
Just calm down. No, I'm not. You see why I'm not talking about teams like Newcastle. It will no longer be two man struggle. It might come to 4. It might come to 3. Whatever they need to do it this season. If they don't do it this season, with the way I'm seeing Newcastle and some other teams I watched Newcastle. I was extremely, I don't know if we're discussing Newcastle and Liverpool. So let me not talk about it. If we're going to still discuss Newcastle.
No, go ahead. Just say your topic. I think we're running up after here because our time is.
Okay, so the only thing I'm saying is for people that, talk about Arsenal in a metaphysical state, they close their eyes, they see Arsenal, they, let them just calm down. It is not, this is not heaven.
It's not that serious.
It's not heaven. So calm down, Arsenal fans. Don't make it look like, you discuss Martinelli, you discuss Saka. Saka is not tracking back. Can you see? I can see what he's doing. He is not doing, let me tell you, it's easy to mark Saka. If you always give him your rights, just give him your rights. Let him not cut to the left. You will nullify him. Honestly. Okay. And a lot of these EPA players have noticed it. So don't talk about Saka as if they are not human beings. They are people. They are not spirits.
Okay,
on,
guys.
man.
We're going to
Just
round.
get pissed off.
We're going to round up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to look at the Newcastle Liverpool game, which was actually our game of the week last week. We all know how that game that game panned out. If anything, I was a little bit disappointed with Newcastle. And if you remember what I said it last time, that I think Newcastle need to understand that they are now a big team in EPL and come to games with the right mentality and approach games with a positive mentality sometimes. Even though they were playing at home, they didn't show much bravery in the way they set up for that game. And that was the reason why they lost their lead. And Liverpool came back, even though they were one man down. So that game
I think the coach lost that game.
That's what I'm saying.
The coach lost the game, not
I
the
remember
player.
I mentioned it last week that they have tools in that squad to approach games in a very positive manner. He has good players who are willing to and have the heart to fight battles, but he sets the team up most of the time in a negative manner. And it's difficult in EPL to change mentality in a game, because once a team grabs the game with the scruff of the neck, it's difficult to turn it around most times. And that was exactly what happened to Newcastle. When Liverpool turned it on, they couldn't find answers. And before they knew it, they were 2 goals behind. If you also remember, I've been calling for or questioning why Darwin Núñez is not starting for Liverpool. If you remember, Choma, in the preview last week,
always said that.
I was wondering why the club doesn't give that guy. He was playing Jota as a 9, and he came in last weekend and delivered the goals. So many are now asking, where does Liverpool go from here? They're still going to put him on the bench and stuff like that. So it was a very, talking about referees again, the lack of consistency in EPL referees is really beginning to worry everybody. Arsenal always comes up in all these conversations. I remember last week, Tomiyasu didn't play this week because he got 2 quick successive yellow cards. And we saw Trent Arnold should have been out of that game in the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And he played the 90 minutes because the referee decided to change the rules in the game that day. So Liverpool got lucky on that one and managed to turn the game around. They gave a very sterling defensive performance, and we are also brave going forward. Mo Salah dropped into the pocket this time and provided the assist and the transition to get the goals. So I think in Newcastle, like you mentioned, Chima, their coach needs to look inwards and begin to play like a team that is respected. Because right now, people are scared of Newcastle. So you don't go out there and have this negative mentality or philosophy, defending and finding a way to score counter-attack goals. So I think that's the reason why they lost that. Look at this young man, this Gordon. What's his
Gordon?
That guy is very, very enterprising. He have Ahmed on the other side, So I don't understand why.
I don't know. You see, I don't want to, time is not our friend. I just want to chip in this. I don't know why he changed that change that he made in the 70, I think it's around 75th minutes. He made that change, 3 solid players, 3 players that was integral to their success. He removed the whole 3 and I don't know if he wants everybody to play. You secure the game, He brought in this guy he changed Gordon and brought in this Everton player. What's his name? Then that was playing 11. I've forgotten his name. Then he changed is it Joe Linton? The guy that was solidly on the midfield, that was tracking back
fighting
most
the
of the
battles.
games. He fought a lot of battles. He is not tired. If you want to change them around 85th minutes so that that the game is almost finished. But when the pressure tends to switch, you make 3 solid changes that change the course of the game. But it's okay.
Chama, did you watch that game? Do you have any thoughts before we round up?
No, I actually didn't watch the game anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a thriller, man. I couldn't take my eyes off the television. It was a very, very good game. Liverpool Liverpool played like the Liverpool we have known in the last 2-3 years, though they were one man down. That's why sometimes when teams lose a game against a team that is one man down, people tend to say, how can you lose it? This will even have a red card. Most times it's even more difficult to play against teams that are one man down because everybody knows that they have to double up their effort. And by the time they pull all those doubles together, they get more energy than they would have got when with that one man, when 10 people put extra effort, you're going to have, more than one person's energy added to the team. And that was what we saw on Saturday. So guys, thank you very much. We are really staying long on this one. I hope our viewers enjoyed the show today. It was a very passionate one. And the battle continues, the shooting of guns and throwing of stones. That's the fun of it. This game, like I've said, I've known that it's a passionate game. People talk about their clubs with passion, and they also respond to comments made towards their club with passion. So I hope our viewers have enjoyed this one. Please let us know what you think about what we have discussed today. Let's get in the comment section. Make case for yourself. Like, we want it to be lively. By next episode, we want to read your comments. What do you feel about how it went down today? It was really a very heavy show, and I hope our viewers will be able to handle the heaviness of the show today. Thank you, Choma. Thank you, Chima, for coming to the show. I'm very, very grateful, and I'm sure our viewers enjoy the banter. And we all know it's all banter. It's no hard feelings. Even when football is being discussed, it's just like politics and religion. People tend to be passionate about it. We'll come again on Thursday. You guys go and load your guns. I will come back on Thursday and do the preview for the weekend. I know that one promises to be very, even more passionate. Arsenal is going to be playing at home to United this weekend, and we'll look at other games as well. So please hit the like button, subscribe if you are new here. If you have not, don't carry away with the the passion of our conversation and not subscribe to the channel. We are still on our road to 2,000 subscribers this month before the before the international break next week. So please like and share our content and join us next time. Bye, guys, and see you on Thursday. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Chima.
Bye-bye.